Well, if you're going to buy this stuff, you're going to have to sell it. And that's what we're going to talk about next on Bullion Breakdown. When you're considering the sale of precious metals, you want to think more like a predator and less like the prey. And part of that should be pouring time and effort into your exit strategy. And to make sure you don't get bit by any snakes in the grass, we're going to discuss 5 ways that you can build an excellent exit strategy for your precious metal investments. Your first action starts before the acquisition of the metal, and that's to determine your goals. Now, these are a series of things that you have to think about. Financial, time, your desired outcomes, like what you ultimately want to achieve, and your exit options. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's continue on to the second thing, which is to monitor the markets. You have an obligation to keep an eye on the precious metal markets, and that's ultimately your gauge for how you determine the buy-sell opportunities and when you want to enter and exit your particular investment. Now, if you do this right, it's ultimately going to increase your profits over time. The third thing we want to look at today is knowing your options, right? Because there's several paths to the sale of your precious metal. And that ultimately determines your profit margin. So you have to think about this strategically and weigh the options and look at the options in the market for you to exit with these precious metals. So how do you do that? Well, you start at the top, right? You look at dealers, whether they be large online dealers or some of your local coin shops, online marketplaces, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or what have you, YouTube. There's all kinds of different social communities that you can tap into, build an audience or build a network or community, and ultimately that aids in the sale of your precious metal. You can also look at forums or private communities. You look at the Silver Forum in the UK. I know there's a huge community there, and it's pretty cool. I've checked that. I don't participate in a major way, but I keep my eye there. We have YouTube communities like this, and then as well as other social, like I mentioned. What's important is you research and understand the market that your product exists in, right? If you have a high-end premium piece of silver, you want to understand the value of that and how to trade that particular product in the market for sale. And if it's just a standard bullion product that you're looking to trade at spot, I would say that your options become grander. So we just went through a list of dealers, online marketplaces, forums. When you look at dealers, really good option, easy sale, but they're not going to give you the best price for your precious metals all the time. So from an ease of transaction standpoint, excellent. From a monetization of your metals, really not the best option. When you look at online marketplaces, I think that's a bit of a wild west depending on the environment and the platform that you're on. But you can ultimately achieve a higher sale price through one of those sales than you could at a standard online or local bullion dealer. And when you look at forums, again, Wild West type of approach here. You have to look at what community you've built, who the buyers and sellers are. There's a little more risk in that transaction, and we're not even talking about that today. But dealing in precious metals on its own comes at its own inherent risk. So maybe that's topic for another video. But from an exit strategy, there's a number of different paths as we're outlaying here. The fourth is taxes, and I'm not going to go very deep here because we all live in different places and different governments offer different tax strategies. But I would say just on a broad level, you want to understand in your market what taxes the metals are subject to, right? Ultimately, if there's capital gains or if there's VAT tax in the UK or what have you, you want to understand that before you make the purchase, not after you make the purchase. And the fifth area is to build a network or a community of precious metal buyers. And this takes time and it has to happen over time, but it will help you harvest a like-minded network of people that have a higher interest in a product that you may want to exit or sell one day. So it's really good for you to start on that today and build that for the future as well. Ultimately, that gives you a ton of options, that fifth option of building a network. So if there's any of the 5 here, I would consider starting first. It's consider that and think about that because there's really no cost to you putting some time and equity into building a network of potential buyers for your future precious metal sale. So we just covered a lot there on how to think about what to do when it comes to exiting your precious metal investment. There's not a lot of content on YouTube, so if you guys like this, please hit like and subscribe and stick with the channel because we've got way more content just like this. But let's go through what the 5 things were on this video that we covered today. Number 1 was to determine your goals. The second thing we looked at today was to monitor the market that you're existing in and that you're investing in. Know your options would be the third. Consider your taxation hits on the purchase or on the exit of the investment. And the fifth was to build a network or a community to help you grow options for potential buyers in the future. Guys, again, this has been Bullion Breakdown. We're going to do more videos like this. Check out on the screen because there's more videos that you can look at right now. But really appreciate your time. We'll see you on the next one.